And I guess that's, the point is so that people can kind of see how I do it. But then also a lot of times I do readings and there are so many things that come through and I think, oh my gosh, I wish I was recording this or I wish I was writing it down, because by the time I'm done with the reading, I never remember a thing. So yeah. Okay. So, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give everybody a moment to jump on here and then I'll get started. So then I guess I should have started this a few minutes ago. Okay. All right. Yay. All right. Okay. Okay. So we'll get going with that. Okay. So, all right. So people are joining now. And so what I do, I'm not going to be looking at TikTok, just so you guys know I'm doing this reading. This is a live reading of one of the winners. And you're going to, basically, everybody's going to be experiencing this the first time. So what I'm going to do with you is I'll give you a chance when I'm finished asking questions and clarify things. Information I get comes from God, from spirit guides, and from people who have passed over. I do not consult the dead. I simply repeat what they say. This makes sure that I'm discerning properly and I'm properly testing the spirits. Only God knows what's in your heart and in your mind. And if it comes to me without you asking it, you're getting an answer from a proper source. There we go. And again, I'll let you ask questions. You are not heard, or nothing of you is discernible on TikTok right now. You are completely anonymous and nobody can hear your voice either, or your questions. Okay. And so I will just get started. 15 minutes is just going to fly by so quickly. I allowed a little bit of time between readings after you, just to make sure that we get everything in that needs to come through, and we will get started. Okay. So y'all watching might get sick because I pace when I'm doing my readings. So, okay. Let me find your energy, and then I'll give you a chance to ask questions, like I said, when I'm finished, and then that's when I'll start the reading as well. Okay. Okay. I just need to see you properly, where you're at, and what you're doing. Okay. You're very ambitious. Let me just put it that way. You're very ambitious. Now, when I'm reading for people, the first place I go is a beach, and the beach represents safety, security, and grounding. I kind of have this whole template of how I follow, just to make sure that I'm not overlooking something or rushing through a scenario. And so the first thing that your guides are showing me is not exactly on the beach, but they take you to the dunes area above that. And there sometimes, not every time on this beach, there is a tree. The tree represents, of course, longevity. It represents, rooted systems, tradition, and perseverance, to be able to grow. And actually, like an oak, it takes years for them to develop any kind of fruit and that acorn, okay? And so you are barefoot, you are in a pair of shorts. Your outfit's kind of moot. It doesn't make any difference, but the barefoot is good. And you are climbing this apple tree. Actually overlooks the beach, and it's way up on the dune. And you are climbing the trunk of this thing like you would see someone climbing a banana tree or a coconut tree to chop it down. Like, you are going for it. And I'm looking and I'm seeing all these branches kind of overhanging, and they're hanging long and low. And the fruit is ripe. It's ripe for the picking. So this is a positive thing. One, what it's telling me, this whole picture that they've just shown me, one is that you are, let me just listen to something a second. Okay. You're on your beach, which represents safety, security, and grounding. Anything that comes your way right now, good or bad, you can handle it. The only thing is that the good or bad, the consequences right now are completely and solely up to you. And that represents that you're barefoot. There's nobody there offering any kind of advice, or, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that, or no, don't do that, or playing a devil's advocate. So it's like having a pocket full of money, and you go to the store and you're like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. And then when you're broke, you're like, I want it. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So that's what they're showing this as far as right now. Right now, all the decisions and the outcomes are completely yours. And part of the reason for that is because it's also a point of learning right now that you're going through a moment where you are having to make a decision that will affect your life, and it may or may not create regret. And so in this next few weeks, usually when I'm reading for somebody, it's like you are right at the pinpoint of that or just before. And so there is a decision that's coming for you that is very important. Now, the barefoot, again, I just mentioned that nothing external to you is holding you back right now. Nobody's standing in your way. That's kind of disconcerting once in a while when you want someone to go, no, that's a bad idea. Don't cut your hair like that. Those jeans do make your butt look too bad. It's that kind of thing. So we want that once in a while. You're not going to get it. And so you climbing this tree. Now, there is an easier way of really reaping all of these benefits. It's the fruit that's hanging, it represents the fruit of labors and your long-term perseverance of trying to achieve something. So this is finally coming. And it's like they're just very ripe. And you're like, I'm climbing the trunk. I'm going to go get what I need to get. And so what they're essentially saying here is this is about to happen for you. You do not need to rush anything. You do not need to go in and withdraw anything or end something too quickly. There is a financial aspect of positivity and bearing and reaping of all of your rewards that's coming to you just normally and naturally. You do not have to rush anything or make it happen. So if you're worried, like, I need to do this, but I have to do this first, and I need the money from that, like right now, can I borrow it from you? You don't have to do that. It's all going to come. Do not worry about money and finances right now because you're going to be blessed big time from the looks of this tree. Now, there is also a number 3 around that. So the 3rd of the month, 3 days, possibly as late as March. But it just feels like it's much sooner than that. So I'm putting it probably through February. So like a 3 weeks or a 3rd of the month. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to snatch you up here because that's what I do. I pick people up and I move them so I can get a better feel of what's going on. I'm going to drop you closer to the water. I'm going to drop you closer to where the sand and the beach itself are. So when I put you down there, you brush yourself off. You're still barefoot, which is good. You kind of, as you're brushing yourself off, you turn around and you look at the water and you're like, and you're looking out on the water. You don't see anything yet. I do not see any flotation devices on the beach. And then you just take off like you're about to jog or sprint or run a couple like a 5K. You take off at that pace and you're running through the sand. You're running towards there's a pathway that leads back up to the dunes and you're kind of running in that direction. So what they're telling me here is, again, you're barefoot. So this is good. It applies to all of the scenarios in your life right now. Water will also represent not only problems, but opportunities. And usually they will be work related and not purpose related, totally different, work related, career, funny, money and finances. So as you are dressed not for business, there is no flotation device to take you out on the water. There is no huge ship out there. Nothing is going to change for you as far as work goes right now. At least nothing outside. Like, you're not going to have to be risky or take any risks right now. You're not going to be having to go apply a bunch of places and change position or enter a new scary area. It's all from your current comfort zone. It's coming from people that you know, situations like, oh my gosh, I was thinking about you and I saw this and I thought, you've got to have it. And so it will be handed to you from someone that you would trust and possibly through a current employer or someone that you know and networked through. And you even looked, you're like, yeah, no, okay, I'm good. I'm going to keep going. And so you just kind of take off in a sprint across. Now that also, the fact is saying, do not worry about work. Do not worry about money. Everything is you're in a really great place. I mean, everything is just in a flowing position. And even if I kind of, try to alter it a little bit. And you're even though you're sprinting, I can throw a baby or a puppy or something in your way and you're like, oh, look at that, so cute. And you stop and you make sure everybody's all right. And then you take up back to your business. So you are not one to be swayed by although you may stop and make sure things are okay, you're not one to be swayed to sit down right now. So this is also saying that it is an important time of flow, of continuing. Do not sit down. Do not be idle. Do not think, okay? Do not do any of that. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so, okay. So do not right now, I wouldn't doubt that your guides are sending you 444, 555. Pay attention to that. I would think in your position as well, they may send some 1111 your way, in which case that's like a wake-up call and saying, hey, you said when you went down there as a human that you're going to help us with this stuff, and it's time for you to, to get on a horse. And usually the 1111, it will depict a situation coming your way that is not completely yours, but you have massive input and help where that's dealing with. So it's usually somebody else's issue or someone else that is struggling that you will be placed in. So I'm thinking those numbers are going to be hitting you left and right, back and forth. Now there is a J initial, a J, so G or J that sounds like it's coming through for you right now. Smells like, their energy smells like a hot toddy or something, the spices, the heat, the cinnamon and clove, and even like I guess that's kind of like smells of the season, but a hot toddy, that's something you would drink if you're at a football game or if you're hot or you're ice fishing or something. So someone is trying to come across with being out, and this is someone who's passed over. So they're trying to come across with a message of, hey, I'm here, not fully coming through though, because obviously they know that you're all right. So it's funny too, because as I'm connecting with that individual, they kind of showed me a spurt that you are very independent, that you do many things alone. Even if there's 10,000 people around you, you choose to go things alone. I would assume looking at you, like you're looking around like, okay, this is great and all, but I think I'm just going to go this way by myself down this really dark hall and then hide away from all of you. So you have this, so you have this kind of introvert aspect to really being like a hoarder of your own energy. And it's okay, because that tells me that when it comes to the push and pull of things, and all right, man, I got to go in and give this 150%. So I'm doing nothing today until I have to do that, because y'all are going to exhaust me. This is going to just take everything. So when you have to exert your energy, which means you're also extremely aware of where and how to use your energy, which also then trickles down to the fact that you read people really well. And so this is great in management and leadership, in business of any kind. It gives you such a business sense of how to not judge, but to sense what a person might need in that moment, and then switch gears so that you're able to better serve that person. So you do have a great sense about all these things. I would want to put you in charge of something important. A project, the emergency room. I would want to put you in okay. All right. So I want to put you in charge of something where you can remove your emotions and say, policy, procedure, do this, do that, boom, 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 boom. I don't care you're crying. You got to get it done this way. It doesn't matter. Don't skip a step. So you're good in those really quick silver moments when you have to think without the emotion, and then you can go later when no one's looking and break down in the back room. Yeah. Okay. Whoop, whoop. All right. Okay. So you have several guides around you. You also, I don't even know what time it is. How long have we been on here? I don't even know. I don't even know. I'm I think we're at our limit, but I am going to keep going, because you do have a guide that's coming through that it looks Native American. And so that's rare. I don't see that all the time, but this tells me that at some point you would have had a previous life in that position, usually in some form of a medical or shamanistic position. And that would have then, as a past life, you will have carried that energy through several lives. And part of it too, when a past life comes up, it's because something happened to you in the process of attempting to accomplish something, and you were either murdered, killed, something violent would have happened. So you're like, man, I was in the middle of doing this, and then y'all took me out. So now I got to go back and do it again. And so every life after that, you would have been then processing. And so you think of the age of the Americas. You're talking several hundred years back. And So you could have had many lives in between that, but they all probably would have had some facet or element of science and medicine. So you have that amazing Native American guide that is still there. And if you ever too, a really neat way of kind of discerning your past lives is to get onto a History Channel and watch some documentaries on history. And the ones that really tug at you, maybe the ones you can't even finish watching, it will have something to do. You either romanticize about it, like, oh my God, that was I love that time period. Because it just evokes something in you that it's like almost a memory that you want to cling to, that you love and hug. That will be like a good memory, a good life. And then there are some when you're like, I can't even watch this. This is killing me. Like, something to do with maybe an Indian battle, or if you were at Auschwitz, you can't watch things on the Holocaust. So watching different historical elements can tell a person a lot about their past lives, which is super cool. And now everybody thinks they're a Viking and whatever. Anyway, I actually have DNA linking me to shield maidens. I know. I'm like, I have a Viking. I know. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Maybe they didn't do that, but I do. So looking at anything else on this beach that your guides want me to say. Hold on one second. I just want to listen really quickly. So something about going north, or something about traveling north. And so I'm going to flip you really quickly because your guide is telling me that, but I'm going to confirm that somewhere else. So there's two places. There's the water, but I want to look at the earthly situation really quickly. So I kind of switch people to, it's like a long hallway, and then there's doorways on either side. So the first door is money, finances, career on an earthly level. So walking into this room, you've been putting off a change for a long time. Like, you've been putting something off, because I'm looking at boxes that have dust on them. And that means that at some point, an opportunity came to you and you're like, I just can't do this right now. But I want to assure you that this opportunity is going to remanifest in your life as an opportunity coming up. And that may be also what's partially what they were showing in the very beginning with the 3. So if all of a sudden you're asked to move stations, or, hey, this opportunity came up, but I have to move north, or I have to travel north, there's something about going north. It also feels like it would tie into a project, or maybe research, or something that you are also either seeing a lot of, or that you would be able to provide information for, and maybe be part of a team. And if you can do it virtually as well, it's just that they're saying something about north, or traveling north for this. Want to see anything else? So yeah, that box with the dust on it, that's a change that was put off. Walking down the hallway really quickly, we walk past the relationship room. I don't really go into the relationship room. It's needless, actually. It's just, there's so many things about relationships that aren't why we're here. And so as we walk past it, you're in front of me, you actually pull the door closed. Let's not. Oh, that's hilarious. Because you pull it closed. So I respect that. I will not push the door back open. Okay. And you'd prefer that it was shut anyway. So that's fine. Isn't it hilarious how your energies do that? I have people looking at me like, I don't even want you here right now. Can you please not be in this area? Sure, I'll leave. And then it's funny because they're thinking that. So the room straight ahead, this is health and what's going on with you health-wise. So I'm just going to quickly run through everything and just double check. Okay, there you are. So let's see. So head, this is good. Eyes, good. Throat. I don't know if you have like postnasal drip, or if you're just getting right up under the tongue, like tonsil area. It just seems like it may be a little swollen. So, okay. Yay. So moving down from there, the throat looks okay. Right about the trachea area also feels like it might be a little itchy. So I'm thinking you're probably getting over something, or at least fighting something off pretty well. Lungs feel okay. Let me see the front. You seem to, when you get sick, it seems to go right into the front of the lungs too. Because I can feel like it sits right in the front. Easily removed, so much better than the back or the bottom. So I also, looking at that, would think that you either quit smoking or you would have been around people at one point that you would have been breathing in something. But it looks like it's a healed area, and it could have even been caused by like COVID as well, because it shows up as an area that would be the first to become infected with an illness. So if it goes to the lungs, you'd end up getting a frontal chest cold that, if zinc and everything else was applied or taken quickly, it would move out very fast. It wouldn't result in a bronchitis or pneumonia. Moving on down from there. Stomach is good. Liver, I don't know, everything. Intestines are good. Your blood flow looks good. I would say take a Flintstones, take some iron pills or something. Increase your red blood cells, and you must be right at that one wavering point of an illness, because I can see a little bit more of the white blood cells, but it looks like it's because it's already fighting something off. And so I don't see with that. It looks like you might be tired, and a Flintstone vitamin might help combat that, only because it just up those red blood cells. But everything else looks good. I mean, your oxygen, I can see all of that. Your back, everything looks good. Okay, so overall health looks good. I think that you may actually, the reason I'm seeing what I'm seeing, and the quickness of either catching an illness or removing the illness, I think part of it is because you have some form of like a hyper or active inflammation already in your body. So make sure you're not eating something that you might have a tolerance to, an intolerance to. A dairy or a gluten. Also, if you start to notice your joints begin to hurt more, it might be that you are, as time goes on, developing some form of a gluten intolerance. So if you start to notice that, it may not be the weather. And you may not have a full celiac, but if you've got any kind of intolerance, it could just manifest as joint pain or a chronic inflammation that's so minor that you wouldn't notice it on a daily basis, but it could affect, you do notice it. Okay, so, oh my gosh, okay. Well, the thing is when you have a gluten intolerance, the body tries to correct that by pulling from all the cartilage in your body. And so you lose your cartilage. It starts to bang bone on bone after a while. So if you just take 2 weeks and go to Aldi and hit or Walmart or someplace and just stock up on some gluten-free items, it's super easy to do at this point too. And that's really not that bad. I mean, I think we've tried everything out there. We're not gluten intolerant, but it's, I want to try it anyway. So there's a huge selection out there anymore, because it's not just a passing thing that people are like, oh. So I would suggest trying that and seeing how it makes you feel, because you may just have that. Would not hurt. Awesome. So do you have any questions I can answer for you? Yeah. Anything about that person? Okay. So this is the just sound that comes through is a gentleman, and I would look at him and think he's got darker hair. He almost looks like dark Irish, with the light eyes and dark hair. So maybe German or something, but he's taller, dark hair, lighter eyes, blue or green eyes. I'm thinking more blue than green. I'm 5'7", so he's taller than me, maybe 5'9", 5'10". And I'm wondering if this is someone that passed when you were little, because he shows himself standing near a corner in your bedroom, like kind of watching you as you're sleeping. And you would be woken up when you were little every night. You're presently woken up. So if that's the case, this is the way that he shows himself is you are little. You're a little tiny girl. So this must be someone that has been around as some form of a guide on a human level for a long time. And the thing about it is that a lot of times if they're around, regardless, we sense that in the middle of the night, especially if they get closer, and it wakes us up. Sometimes it jolts us awake, and you can feel it, like, somebody's in the room with you. I mean, I've learned I get up to go to the bathroom. I don't even open my eyes anymore. I feel for where I'm going because I know there's usually people standing there. So if that's the case, just, just tell him, can you please just not wake me up because it's disrupting my sleep, and it's just, I don't want to deal with it because it gets confusing and disconcerting. So I would just ask him to leave you alone while you're sleeping. There's so much. Uh-huh. That's fabulous. Keep your They will. And the thing is if you're remembering it, it's because they are entering just as your subconscious is still saying you can still see these dead people. They're available to see. And you're given that few minutes upon waking, but you're still in that dream mode to where they're able to come in, and you're able to see and talk to them for that minute or two maximum. And then your brain kicks in and goes, well, you can't see dead people. And then you're rolling over and going into the next dream. So I would keep a recorder or a little notepad or something, even if you can just jot down, boop, 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 and then go back to sleep. Because if you're using that information to help other people, they will make sure to, hey, she's listening. She's paying attention. We've got to give her more because she's passing on these messages. And they will continue to do it. They will absolutely use you. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Aw, absolutely. Absolutely. No, absolutely. Well, you know what? Those who've passed over, they never leave. They just show up in a different form, and sometimes they stay away, sometimes they come close, sometimes they burn out our light bulbs. But if you're getting those communications, absolutely strengthen them by listening and trusting and following through, and they will continue to build on that. Excellent. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thanks. You're welcome. I will send you the link to this so you can watch it again. And yay. Excellent. You take care. Have a good day. Thanks. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Thanks. Bye-bye. Yeehaw. All right. So for all of you guys who are watching, that is pretty much how I do my reading. I actually have one more that I'm going to do. I don't even know when it's scheduled, but I believe it's for next week, I think. So stay tuned, and I will talk to you later. Take care.